Why are you like... Now what are you complaining about? Wood is finally situated. And power. Let's get these trains rolling. Welcome back to the Danger Station. I'm Danger Train, and this is Sweet Transit. Last we left off, we just got done setting up wheat. That way we can get our fish-powered feet some bread. This time around, we will be relocating the warehouse, and, well, we're going to actually start diving into a little bit of the Electrified DLC with some electric trains. So as it currently sits, this is Yum Yum. Getting a little big. There's some people. We have lots of people, actually. We've currently actually capped out the size of this town. So many people, in fact, that they're complaining about not having enough work. Let's fix that. So, with the Electrified DLC, we start out with coal plants. Then we get these nice high voltage or low voltage power lines and stuff. We'll dive more into the low voltage later. But seeing as we have a coal mine up over here, I figure we could tap into this coal down here and toss the power station down. Now, much like everything I have, I got blueprints. So, let's toss a station down super quick. Sometimes I forget how big these blueprints actually are. Quick click of the F button, and we can get that flipped around. Oh wait, that's the wrong one. I need the regular yard, not the hub. Oh, once again, let's quick F. Oh wait, I did have the right one. We will be setting up the coal plant next. So let's kind of stuff that up over here. Ah yes, unlock the electric train. Because the goal of this is going to be swapping out all of these internal trains with electrics. But back to the coal power plants. So this is really the first time we're getting into the actual industries. And with that, there are a couple of... Go figure, I don't have enough wood. Let's put a pin in that. I'll bring you guys right back once I get that wood issue situated. Alright, well, we are back, and here's the issue. Increasing the length of the trains to haul 1,000 apiece. With, what is this, 3 trains? 4 trains? Yeah, I know, I got 4 rolling. So, this isn't enough wood being produced. Quick and easy, we'll just copy it down, paste it next to it, and this should solve the wood problem. Alright, everything's hooked up. Yep, looks good. Ah, here's the power plant one. Power to the people. Coal plant opens. Well, it's open, but it's not running yet. Now what are you complaining about? Cannot reach destination. Oh, I have a pass rail condition. I was forcing these guys to go down this rail, because that was before I had... Yeah, let's do that. There we go. Now they should take up all of that. Completely forgot. Last episode we have plenty of wheat. All the wheat we'd ever need. Can't get enough wood. Yes. There we go. That's what I like to see. Alright. Back at the power station. So, now that we have some wood, one way I can place some of this stuff down, the industries themselves have a building area. So, all of these tertiary buildings have to be placed within this build zone. And this is going to play into a lot of the industries when we work on them. Now, you can hover over these, as you can see, this turbine requires a cooling tower. Now, I've done a little bit of testing, and pretty quick and simple. I mean, if you wanted to, you could set this up, and yeah, there you go. So each one of these has a cooling plant. So you got your the turbine, and then you have the cooling tower. Now, this is a 1-to-1, but you don't need to do it this way. You can actually cover multiple of these turbines with a single coal plant. But as you can see, putting this here, it will actually support both of these buildings. Putting it here, because it works on the diagonal, it'll cover all 3 of these buildings. So if you can kind of tell and see where I'm going with this, I have found a very good ratio for my factories. And that's where all these come in handy. So, by simply slapping one of these down, I am able to essentially min-max my power production. Now, this, the actual whole plant command piece that's kind of sticking out there to the right, that needs to be as close to this as possible to get the coal ran over there in order to keep up with the coal plant. So in doing so, I can drop this here, and now we have a beautiful power plant. And I can show you guys that this does in fact work by grabbing another cooling tower. And as you can see, all of these are highlighted. That one nice white outline around them all. So all of these have this cooling tower as support. So this one little blueprint can produce 105 megawatts of power. Now, another thing I like to do, much like my stations, this is stampable. I don't have to pull the blueprint itself every time, because that's just a waste. Why keep having to place down one of these actual command centers when I can simply, yes, output please. Thank you. There you go. Let's crank that up. So as you can see here, this is going to need a lot of coal. Right now, it's looking like 60 per minute, which I believe will take one of these. So each one of these setups is one coal mine, and there's a reason I placed so many down. Because the trains themselves that actually use this electricity, there we go. Each train itself, each locomotive, oh my, sometimes you have to hold your mouse over top of what you want to read for a couple seconds. There's a little circle up here. Oh my god, this is frustrating. Hold on, give me a second. Alright, there's a little circle up here in the top right that has to fill for it to stay like this so you can hover over it. But as you can see, each locomotive uses a certain amount of electricity in order to operate. And much like the coal locomotives, they'll just run slow if they run out of power. But, well, as you can see here, these are incredibly quick. So, in order to produce more power from this single plant, I can click on this command building, and then go into my blueprint editor, and actually slap more of these down. Okay, well, as of right now I can only put one down, but that then doubled our power. So, just by putting 2 of these down, we had now produced 210 megawatts. However, that does double well, a little less than double, because this is where you start getting your efficiency from. So, a little less than double coal per minute. Now, if I was to just place this original blueprint down, I would need 120 coal per minute. So by doing it this way, it becomes very efficient. But as you can see here as well, we need 94 laborers. That constitutes its own train just in itself, because on top of that, oh, I missed a. There we go. On top of that, we need, what is this, 80, 160, 200? Yeah, 200 workers for just the coal plants. On top of let's just do... Okay, so we only need 100 or so per minute. So 10 should be fine. So that's 310, or that's 210. Oh well. So 304 laborers is what we're going to need here, which is ridiculous. Let's jump over to our train depot, and let's get a train that can haul that many. Now, I'm considering actually putting an electric train down for this, because the actual electric train locomotive itself can haul passengers. So this is going to help a lot. Now, these wagons can't go fast enough. So, even though this locomotive can hit 50 kilometers an hour, it will still be limited by these ST-20 wagons. Which is fun. Well, that just means it won't outpace and get stuck behind a lot of the steam locomotives. So, we have a 13-length electric train here that's going to be hauling passengers. Now, if we did the same train design, but for steam, in order to haul that many passengers, we're all the way out to 15. So as you can see, this actually saves us 2 tiles worth of length. Not really necessary because we're running mainline, but one, it would be nice to save on some coal, and that compression of the train really helps when you're running internal trains here. Because as you can see with this one, I'm really cut down because of the locomotive tender that I need for it in order to get all the way out to the wheat farm. And, well, it'll also solve this problem. Now, back over here, we need to connect this to the route. Now, because I flipped this, our inbound track is on the left. And over here, our outbound is on the right. So these are going to have to cross somewhere, somehow. Let's get these slapped down here real quick. Honestly, I just toss a nice quick little stone bridge. So the stone bridge is the only bridge that can actually cross over track because of the archway. Now, you can make these as long as you need to cover as many rail lines as necessary. The wooden trestle cannot. It cannot cross. In my opinion, I think it should. It would kind of be really cool, but it does give you a reason to build stone. So I understand the progression. Wait, did I have that lined up? I did have that lined up. Unnecessary butt clicks. So I'm thinking we can possibly just cut this straight across over to here and then just hook it. Yeah, because that's just going to be an end of line for the main line. Alright, so because we're supplying coal to this station, or to this coal plant within the station, we don't have to worry about adding that to our coal line. Eventually, we will actually be able to phase this out once we hit diesel locomotives. But for right now, let me get the rest of this situated. Let me get a route set up. Alright, welcome back. So before I hit the start and deploy these, we need to run power lines. Because, well, these are electric trains. We don't want them going really slow on the main line. They'll clog up everything else. Man, our wood is still not enough. Why am I constantly dealing with wood problems? What is going on? Anyway, let's get back to electrifying our rail network. So, the reason I grabbed the substation first is it actually connects directly to this power plant. You can see that little like white line that's kind of following the cursor around. Now, I don't necessarily need the substation. The substation is really to transition from the high voltage power lines down to the low voltage. The actual high voltage can connect directly to the power station. Now, another thing to see over here is this little white like sphere that is following around the power pole. This is the radius in which this power pole will electrify that rail. So, as you can see, if I were to place it here, over there on the right, this rail right here will not get powered. So you kind of gotta place these strategically. And with large stations like this, it's very tricky to actually get the power all the way through. That's why I've kind of limited... that's why I usually limit the amount of electric rails that I use. Because having the actual power supply within the train itself, just it's a bit more feasible. In my mind, it makes more sense. But that is also why these locomotives have a battery. So they have a 5,000 kilowatt hour battery. Might sound like a lot. Doesn't really last all that long when you're trying to pull an entire train. But there is a battery tender if you need to use it. I typically don't with the way that I design my rails, but it does give you 80,000 kilowatt hours worth of power, and it also has its own braking power, which is super handy and really helpful. It's almost an entire locomotive worth of braking power. But with the way I design my rails, I can actually run the power lines between the rails themselves. And another neat little thing that you can do here is you can click and drag and just run this as far as you need to. Now, I could have stopped there where the station was, but what I need to do is make sure that I get power all the way to this curve, and then also I need to make sure that it actually is reaching this offshoot rail right here that merges into the station. Now, if you zoom nice and close, you can actually see there's a graphic for what lines are powered. You have these poles, and then you have the overhead high voltage wires. You zoom in real close in the builder, it's actually left black, so it's pretty easy to see against the white there. So I might be able to get away with dropping another power line there. Drop one here. As we get into the station, though, this is where it will really kind of need to use a lot of its battery. But you can kind of see the the hemisphere that I have here. You can actually see more of the sphere. But yeah, that's the sphere of influence for each tower and how far it actually gets. Now, my station design doesn't really take into account electricity because, again, I don't really use it when it comes to really large stations. So the battery should be able to cover this area, and they should have enough power to get back to the lines, because as soon as they hit the lines again, they will start recharging. If anything, I can probably put some electric down over here to make that a little bit quicker, because once the station actually gets to its full size, the train will actually be waiting about right here. So as it's waiting, it'll already be recharged and ready. So let's get this electricity ran all the way through to the power plant down here. And that's part of the reason why I chose the smaller station design that I have, because I'm just going to run these power poles straight in. This station is probably not going to need to get any bigger than it already is. I mean, shoot, it's already way more than is necessary. So let's just run this straight through like this. There we go. I'll wrap this around. Oh, misclick. There we go. Got the power pole. I am a little OCD with power lines. Just run that parallel with it, and there we go. So you can highlight the power pole itself. If you click on it, it'll actually tell you how much power is being produced, how much is consumed, and then click on the command center for the power station. You can see that it is connected to the main grid. So with all of that situated, it is going to be a slow roll to get there, but they just make it so the yard itself is unpowered. Still going to need to get electricity over here. This station reaches all the way up here. Probably do that just to keep this going. And then these stations don't get much bigger, so we'll put that there. And not having power in here is perfectly fine. But me having a little bit of some prior knowledge about this game, I'm going to need power within the city. And that's where these little power stations come in handy. Because I can drop these really anywhere, and they're the same size as a house, so if I need to drop one, say, like here, I can just delete that house. But eventually, the city itself will need power. Now, if you get the DLC and you don't want to play with power, perfectly acceptable. You just have to turn off the DLC content when you create the world. So, over here, let's run this line all the way to there. Make sure we capture as much of these rails as possible. I'm not utilizing this right now, so I'm just going to leave that like how it is. Now, you might be thinking, how in the world am I going to get that power all the way... Sorry, I'm being a little finicky. I'm trying to find a really good position for this. That's not in the way of anything else. Okay, that'll work. So you can do some pretty funky things. As you can see here, I clicked way over here, but I can drag all over here, and the system will automatically figure out the best path to route it. Honestly, that kind of looks cool with the power lines being drug everywhere, but this isn't an industrial zone, so I won't do that. So this is part of the reason why some of my blueprints, like these inner city ones, has all of this blank space around it for dropping power poles in. But let's run this to the other side. That way we can power the bridge. Now, you might be thinking, how am I going to power the center of the bridge? Well, as you can see, you can place these in the water. Super handy. So I can honestly just run this straight across in parallel with the bridge itself. Make sure all of this gets power. Which, just running a power line on that side would be more than enough. But now, kind of looks a little funny. But, yeah. Wooden trestle, floating power lines. Sure. Wood is finally situated. And power. Let's get these trains rolling. Alright. So, with that, we now have electric trains. Starting to kind of branch away from the steam locomotion. Even though, personally, it is my favorite, and I believe we could go back to it very easily by using nuclear reactors instead of coal to provide heat, but that is a whole story for a different day. Let's sit back, let's watch our brand new electric train run all the way out there, drop off its passengers, and come on back. I'll catch you guys as soon as this is done. Alright, perfect. And just as we drop off passengers, we have power. As soon as the coal gets there. Well, we have workers over here. And it looks like we brought plenty. All the coal is pumping away. Got workers transporting it. And it looks like we are keeping up. And as you can see here, we are producing 210 out of 210 because we are actually providing enough coal. Okay. Yeah, good. This is slowly going up. Let's look at the grid. You can kind of see the little fluctuations of whenever the electric locomotives are running. So seeing as we have two, we are pulling 10 megawatts, and that 15 is from it recharging its battery. So plenty and plenty of power. And these guys are a really nice upgrade. Oh, look at that. Another news of the rail. Bright ideas pay off. We finally have electric trains. Now, let's get the rest of our network electrified. Not the whole main line, because that would be very expensive. It would cost a lot of power to run power lines all along our network. Now, the main line itself, like right here, yeah, that's definitely going to get powered. This might get power. It might not. We'll see down the road. But let's electrify the trains that are actually inside the inner loops. First and foremost, let's get these guys electrified. So let's select this train and upgrade it to ET10. Now, this is an issue. I don't know what it is with the upgrade tool, but it replaces every single carriage with the locomotive. Now, mind you, this will pull 5 megawatts per locomotive. This is insane. You don't need to do it this way. So the way I usually do it is I go in, I edit this route, and then I just transfer to train depot. Let's pause it real quick. That way we can catch all of our trains here. And let's just sell these. These are no longer necessary. Actually, we just need to sell the whole train, because these wagons are also unnecessary. Because now that we have these ETs, I like being symmetrical. This now hauls 280, whereas the original one, we rebuild that original train, hauled 240. So we get a whole extra 40 passengers that can run around with these guys, and it is actually a little bit shorter. So let's select the route, let's clone this, and let's send that out. Alright, welcome back. I have electrified all of our inner loop trains, so they are running a lot smoother, a lot quicker, and I don't have to worry about the wheat train that runs out to the farms needing coal anymore. Internal trains electrified. Now you can see the power draw is fluctuating a lot. That's where this graph is super handy. Don't ever let this red line go above this green line, otherwise you will start having your trains run out of power. On top of that, once we start upgrading our houses, they will also need power. Well, that'll probably do it for this episode. I mean, we got electricity down on the rails. We got a coal power plant situated, providing our fish-powered fleet with some electricity, but, well, I mean, more importantly, our trains. And now, we don't have to worry about our train hauling the wheat back and forth from running out of fuel. Oh yeah, we also solved our wood problem. That's going to be a reoccurring issue. Look at all the fish-powered feet. Well, anyway, this has been Danger Train. I'm leaving the station. Y'all have a good one.